All right, friends out there in YouTube land, Rob here. Today I want to share with you how to fix the Godox V1 whatever when it breaks on you, kind of like mine did. And I've been using these for a couple of years. This is something I do all the time. I actually just did it and then realized maybe you guys might like to see it. I want to compare that to this guy right here, the Yongyo YN560. I've had to repair these two. They all have a very similar kind of attachment method at the bottom with 4 screws where this piece comes off. But this seems to be a much more stable and sturdy design than what we have over here on the V1S. I just don't have to fix this. I've probably fixed these. I've bought 8 of the replacement parts off of Adorama for $20 each. There's no bundle deal, but you can find the replaceable parts. Anyways, what happens with this little slip ring that tensions down, I'll show you in a second that the actual connection that connects to the plate that screws onto the flash doesn't, well, it just connects with 4 little screws. It's a very flimsy piece of plastic. So at one point in time when one of these broke, I thought I would replace it with this kind of a model, which has a screw down, and that it would be tighter and stronger. And I don't know necessarily that that's the case. This one has not broken as often as this one, but on the inside, the little connections pull apart more because it doesn't have any flexibility in the connection. Seems like it should be long enough, but it's not. Anyway, without further ado, well, I guess I'll share with you one last thing. There is a lot of play when you put this on. Even when you don't screw it down, you can kind of see that wobbling right there, okay? It's not because I didn't screw it down. It's because the actual connector has screws on the inside to allow tension to release, and those screws have springs connected to them. Well, this does not. So when you put this on, it doesn't wobble the same. I'm trying to move it. You can see my hand moving. It does not wobble the same. It's actually a stronger connection. And they cost 85 bucks compared to 150 or 200 depending on what sale. Oh, 250 or 100 depending on the sale that you get. Okay, I've already started this once, like I said. I'll do it again. I don't know how the video is going to look right now because I just set up my cell phone to record for you. But when you pull this off after it's broken and it's just completely and totally messed with you and you don't understand what's going on, sometimes, let me give you another caveat, sometimes this connection will break. You won't notice that it's broken other than a little bit of wobble, and that will actually dislodge this connector, this T-bar connector right here. Now, generally, that T-bar connector, as you can see, has just 2 little slip fittings where these 2 contacts fold over themselves from the TTL pads on this side and just press down and have a friction fit. So, when this part breaks, that little part breaks, that connection is lost. Even if the flash doesn't fall off, if it just has a little hairline fracture, it could be enough to dislodge the connection. And that will cause your flash to completely stop working. And it could look like everything's okay. I mean, it could look like it's totally fine. It could look just like this, right? But that connection have been lost on the inside because the little piece of plastic is broken. Anyways, when you take this off, you'll notice that there are a couple of folded over pieces, and there's a connection right here on the inside. This is also just a press fit for that circuit board, and you just pull up on it and it comes out. You'll know to put it back correct because it's always the connection side, not the black side, that faces into the camera or into the flash. It does not face away from the flash, it faces into. Okay, so in this instance, you can see exactly what I'm talking about. We have some of the springs that you can see that hold that connection. And we have these springs right here that actually allow the clamping mechanism to work, but the entire piece that holds the flash on has lost that connection. Now, this is an extreme example where the flash actually fell off the camera. I kept it because if you ever break one of these little connections, you might want to use that. The connector, the little ribbon cable, is fine. Okay, so let's get back to putting it back together. Now, when you buy an accessory part, you have this one that you can choose from on Adorama. That's the only place that I've found them. And you have this one, okay? Now, I would suggest, well, I don't know. I don't know which one I would suggest. I don't think it really matters. I prefer the screw down, right? But what I've noticed with the screw down is that because it doesn't have those little springs in there, this connection, even when it's not broken, seems to come loose more often. Seems like the screw down has an upgrade to the clamp, right? In any event, choose whichever one you want. There's a $2 price difference between the screw down and this one. I have to replace these more often. I've only had to replace the screw down once, but I do have to take the screw down off and reconnect this little T connection right here more often. So maybe the screw down is not breaking, but the connection is coming loose, whereas the clamp down is breaking and I'm just replacing it. Okay, enough with that. How we put it back together is pretty simple. We're going to put the flash adapter, the actual plate adapter, on so that the pins are facing towards what would be the front of the flash and the front of the camera. And this might be difficult for me to do here, but it's not too difficult to do in real life. You then take the connection side of the ribbon cable and you just push it flat into here. Now the cable's kind of short, and usually I'm a little bit closer, so we'll see if I can get this. And I'm sure I'm obscuring your view, but we got it. There we go. Now that it's in right there, you're good to go. Now it's ready to go back on. You'll see that it's going to have the pins go forwards, but before we do, there's something else. If you ever notice that your flash shoe is getting loose with this kind of a connection, and this works with the Flashpoint and the Godox, you want to come in here and maybe you can see there's 4 little black screws, 1, 2, 3, and 4. You can actually screw those down. They will come loose. That's part of the problem for why these break, is because they come loose, allowing the flash to wobble in the Hotshoe even when it's locked down, because this whole piece right here is not connected to this ring. This whole piece is connected to the base of this plastic part right here by those 4 screws. So this is a separate piece. This whole shoe comes off and connects to this housing via those 4 screws. What locks it down is this clamp that uses these spring-loaded lockers to clamp down and apply pressure for the clamp. Okay, now that you've got that done, if you ever have it loose, you can actually put a little bit of 228 thread locker or 222 thread locker in there, and that will help quite a bit and it won't hurt the plastic. Once that's in, you make sure that your T-bar connection is good. Like we showed before, just press that down. It comes out pretty easily. I'm not going to do it, but just pressure fit that in there. And then all you have to do is screw it back together. I'm just going to put in one here. And that's fine. Now, if you get the screw down instead of the clamp down replacement, it was made for, I think, the 860. But they have a very similar footprint. And you'll notice that although the footprint is the same, it doesn't sit flush like the screw down clamp does. However, they both fit. Okay? So that's up to you. Once you're all said and done, you should place it on your camera to test and make sure that any of the automatic features are working, such as the automatic zoom function, and so that the camera recognizes when the flash is in the up or down position. You'll actually see on the back of your screen the camera recognizing a bounce. And that's it. There you have it. I'm not going to screw it together and make you watch that, but that's how you fix the Flashpoint or the Godox V1. Could be the Canon or Nikon or Sony series. Would I buy this flash again? I don't know. I like the TTL and high-speed sync functionality. I've had to fix them, like I said, 8 times. I've bought 8 of these. This was 2 years ago. When it broke the first time, I knew it would break again, so I bought a total of 8. I'm down to my last one over 2 years. That's like one every quarter or one every season or something like that. However, this guy, I fixed this one time, and it's because something came loose. I didn't need to buy a new part, but a connection like this on the inside of here came loose, and I got like 5 or 6 of these. I don't know, man. You can see they've been beat up all to hell and everything else, and they just still work great. So, manual TTL, I prefer manual flash. I still use these a lot, and I think these are great for all of the connected capability that they have. But it really irritates me that they break all the time. All right. Thanks a lot. Bye for now.